today, that statement came out. Even today, out of nowhere, that statement came up. This is not a meta trial anymore, in my view. This is a constitutional experiment unfolding in real time, because what you are about to hear is not about bullets, suspects, or confessions. It is about something far more dangerous, a courtroom where the law was asked a direct question and it refused to answer. Oh, my Lord. In the Senzo trial, the defense raised a simple legal objection. How do you impeach a witness on a statement that has never been proved? And instead of a ruling, they were told, if you are aggrieved, take me on appeal. That sentence alone may one day collapse the entire case. Not today, one day. Please remember that, because in South African law, a judge is not allowed to knowingly permit a possible illegality and then outsource justice to a higher court. Fair trial rights are not deferred. They are enforced right now. Today, we are not asking who killed Senzo Meyiwa. We are asking something even more unsettling. Is this trial fair? Is this trial being quietly built to fail intentionally? Stay with me, because what happened next is not a case management. It is a warning sign, a constitutional fault line, and possible the moment this trial stopped being decided in this courtroom and started being decided on appeal, maybe that is when things will make sense. But for now, a lot is not making sense. There's a lot of things that are not making sense. And furthermore, there is a moment in every trial that separates procedure from principle, a moment where the judge must choose, apply the law or avoid it. And in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, that moment has already passed. The defense did not object for drama. They did not grandstand. They asked a question so basic, so fundamental. The first-year law students know the answer on that one. They do. How do you impeach a witness on a statement that has not been proved, not admitted, not authenticated, not placed into evidence, a ghost document? And when the defense demanded a ruling, not an opinion, not a mood swing, but a ruling, the court did not answer the law. It answered with a threat. If you are aggrieved, take me on appeal. This will haunt this entire Senzo Meyiwa case for decades to come. It will haunt it. Let that sentence sink in, Gesana. It happened, because that is not neutrality. That is a judge telling the defense, I know there may be an irregularity, but I am going to let it happen anyway. That's what happened in court today. That is exactly what happened in court today. And that is where this trial crossed a constitutional red line. Appeal is not a stay, is not a safety net for judicial laziness. Appeal is not a dustbin where illegal rulings are dumped for later. South African law is merciless on this point. The Constitution says a trial must be fair, not eventually, not on appeal, but now. In State versus Jaipal, the Constitutional Court said a judge must actively protect fairness as the trial unfolds, not later, not upstairs, not downstairs, now. That some violations cannot be cured. Once the record is poisoned, no judgment can disinfect it. And yet here, the court allowed cross-examination on an unproven statement, allowed impeachment without proof, allowed insinuation to masquerade as evidence. And when the defense asked the only question that mattered, on what legal basis, the court did not answer. It outsourced justice. That is not case management. That is abdication. Because a trial court has no authority, none to knowingly permit a potentially unlawful process and then tell a higher court to clean up the mess. That is not how law works. That is how convictions collapse. Years later, after witnesses are gone, after memories are dead, after the public has been lied to. This is how you build an appeal, not by accident. I've been saying this. This man is making sure this case is winnable on appeal. But by design, and when this case finally reaches the Supreme Court of Appeal or the Constitutional Court, the question will not be who fired the gun. The question will be far more dangerous. Why did the trial court refuse to apply the law when it mattered the most? Why? Because in that moment, the Senzo Meyiwa trial stopped being a search for truth and started becoming a future judgment waiting to be set aside. That is what happened in the Senzo Meyiwa case. And Judge Ratta, I know he doesn't care. I know he doesn't care, but at the same time, he cares. I don't care what he says. Oh, he cares. He cares, guys. He cares. Even if he can act as if he cares, he doesn't care. Unless you won't be around to witness him being impinged. I don't think that's a nice feeling. I don't think so. At the end of every trial, there is a verdict, right? But long before that verdict, there is a record. And the record never forgets. It never forgets. Years from now on, when this case no longer belongs to headlines, politics, or television, YouTube channels, it will belong to judges who were not in that courtroom. Judges who will not care who was popular, who will not care who was powerful, who will not care who was under pressure. They will care about only one thing. Was this trial lawful to begin with? And on that question, this record is already trembling because somewhere in this transcript is a moment that cannot be erased, a moment when the defense asked for the law and the law did not answer, a moment when impeachment was allowed without proof, when cross-examination was built on a ghost document, when a constitutional objection was met not with a ruling, but with a warning. If you are aggrieved, take me on appeal. Those words will not vanish. They will be read again, slowly, coldly, line by line. And when an appellate court finally reaches that page, the question will not be whether a witness lied. The question will be far more devastating. Why did the trial court knowingly allow a potential irregularity to continue and refuse to rule on the law? Because appellate courts do not repair broken trials, they set them aside, they erase years, they release accused person not because they are innocent, but because the process was poisoned, and then the truth dies a second time. That is the real danger here, not acquittal, not conviction, but a case so contaminated by unresolved irregularities that no verdict survives. If Senzo Meyiwa's family ever stands again in a courtroom, years from now on, hearing that this trial has collapsed, it will not be because of the lack of evidence. It will be because the law was not applied when it mattered. Justice delayed is painful, but justice corrupted is fatal. And the tragedy in this, the man who died on that floor in 2014 deserved a trial. He deserved a trial that could stand. Not a trial but built on silence. Not a trial built on deferral. Not a trial quietly engineered to fall apart. Not a trial quietly engineered to fall apart. Because when judges refuse to rule, history eventually does. And when it does, it's never gentle. I hope Judge Ratta understands that, but he doesn't care. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.